High Court handing down 4 more rulings today, including a major ruling on gun rights. A number of cases, though, still remain undecided. Our national correspondent Logan Raddick is live for us outside the Supreme Court to tell us more about some of these cases we're watching. Logan, good morning.
Emma, good morning. And the Supreme Court striking down New York's restrictive concealed carry law 6-3. All conservative justices in the majority opinion today. And that is the first big Second Amendment ruling we've seen from the Supreme Court in about a decade's time, and one that could allow for more weapons to be carried around New York, whether it be on the streets and in places like churches, bars, and other places, because those concealed carry laws will now be loosened in the sense that if New York tries to restrict them to more than just beyond the need for self-defense, then in a sense, the state can now be sued after this ruling. So New York state law, that has actually been on the books since 1913, requiring a person who wants a license to carry a handgun in public to show, quote, proper cause that the weapon is specifically needed for self-defense rather than the desire to protect themselves or their property. Now, the Supreme Court, in the majority opinion from the conservative justices, says, quote, New York's proper cause requirement violates the 14th Amendment in that it prevents law-abiding citizens with ordinary self-defense needs from exercising their right to keep and bear arms. Now, this ruling could also affect similar laws in states like California, New Jersey, Maryland, Hawaii, and Massachusetts. So a big law coming down from the Supreme Court. Again, this deals with handguns, this concealed carry law. So in New York, a place that's seeing rising crime, more people will now be allowed to have a concealed carry permit in the streets. Back to you.
Of course, you'd have to go through the legal process of still obtaining a gun. Logan Raddick with the very latest. Logan, thank you.
Tell me you can't just buy one on the street, just walking around, and little vendors. You got the hot dog vendors, and then they got the gun vendors now. It's not going to be like that.
Not like that.
No, not at all. And here to weigh in on that is, again, reaction here, attorney for Washington, D.C., Joe diGenova, former chief counsel for Senate Intelligence Committee, Victoria Toensing, both the Newsmax contributors. They have been with us all morning monitoring these rulings, and we always appreciate that. If you wanted to comment again for viewers that may be just tuning in here, or maybe perhaps on the West Coast or Mountain Time, your analysis again on what just happened with the Supreme Court. And then also, too, looking ahead, I think we have 8 cases left.
Yeah, I think we do. But, Sean, I think it was appropriate that you showed the Senate floor at the beginning of this hour, because I think some lawyers from the Senate better look at the wording of that proposed legislation and make sure it doesn't that it's consistent with the ruling handed down today by Justice Thomas.
Well, I also think that this is a big deal. Let's remember what happened here. In Heller, the Supreme Court ruled that a citizen had a right to keep and bear arms in their home for self-defense. The court today says not only does a citizen have a right in their home, but they have a right to carry that gun out of the home into the public to defend themselves, and that the restrictions that New York imposed on it to have basically a special need beyond self-defense are unconstitutional. So this is really a huge ruling by the court.
Yeah. When we just kind of humanize some of these cases as well, you're wondering who are the folks behind bringing this legislation to the High Court? Why is it that they're so interested in it? You talked about sort of the extra hurdles that New Yorkers would have to cross if they were to obtain a gun prior to this ruling coming out. I think you had to show proof that you had been threatened, perhaps that you were of somewhat celebrity status as well, making you a higher profile target. But now, Victoria, it's as though, your everyday Americans, your everyday New Yorkers would be able to obtain this, of course, through the proper path by going through all the background checks and training in that.
And that's what Thomas clearly said, because in addition, Emma, there was some person or committee or group in New York that could look at your reasons and just deny them, and you didn't have any recourse. And the recourse was to go to the Supreme Court, because there are many people in this country that are concerned about the Second Amendment rights as they are about First Amendment rights, and those are the people behind bringing these cases.
Well, what you pointed out, Emma, is very important, because what New York had was what we call a celebrity possession gun law. In other words, if you were a big shot, if you were a multimillionaire, if you ran a big bank, if you were a sports figure, or if you were a member of a legislature or somebody in Congress, you could have private security, you could carry a weapon, you could be licensed to carry a weapon. But if you're an ordinary citizen walking up Broadway and somebody takes a shot at you, you weren't allowed to have a weapon. Those days are over.
Yeah, and you know, to hear something like that, it's almost surreal because that does happen in New York City. There are attacks that happen so often, and it's a real thing. And many average citizens want to be able to defend themselves if they have the opportunity. And many supporters, advocates for the Second Amendment, find it wild that there are 8 different areas, 8 different states, including D.C., where the Second Amendment somehow doesn't apply the same as it does in the other states. Now that does not seem to be the case any longer. I'll just move on really quickly with you. I think I got about a minute left with both of you. Now we've got Friday back on the docket here and next week. What are you expecting as far as this plays out into which cases we might hear? Again, still anticipating the ruling on Dobbs v. Jackson.
You've got 4 more big cases. You've got the prayer by the coach, Joe Kennedy. You've got Harvard, got the border. And what's the other one, Joe? Guns,
affirmative action is one of them as well. Yeah.
Where's the big one?
Yeah.
Stay in Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah, the border case.
Yeah.
And so I predicted Dobbs is not going to come down to the last day, whatever that last day is.
I think we'll get Coach Kennedy tomorrow.
All right. That's a preview that we will be watching
and
for.
Remain in Mexico doesn't get a lot of attention. That's a big one too, by the way. That's going to happen. Yeah, huge impact on the border.
All right, Joe diGenova, Victoria Toensing, thank you both. Appreciate the conversation and analysis. Some good stuff there.